So I've lived in Arizona my entire life, born and raised, proud Zony. Living in Arizona, it's not one of those things like you see represented in film a lot. You know, like I feel like every movie is like, oh, they're in Chicago, they're in Los Angeles, they're in the big city of New York. But every once in a while you get a little Arizona in there. And I don't know if you guys remember this little blip of a movie called Eight-Legged Freaks.
That's the spider movie.
It's the spider movie. Oh my God, you sound so sensual, Hayley. I love it so much.
Spider movie.
It's the spider movie. Yeah, it's the spider movie with David Arquette, and it was filmed in Arizona. And I feel like it just represents the desperation and dry sadness and heat of Arizona very well. It's probably on your top list of movies, isn't it, Nicole? I feel like you're an Eight-Legged Freak stan.
Oh, for sure. You know, I watch it like once a week at least because I just got to get my fix. But
Her spider fix.
yeah, because we don't have enough of those in Arizona or other bugs. But but I would say mine is Moneyball because I have to stick with baseball.
Was Moneyball in Arizona?
Here's the thing. Like, I feel like there's a lot of movies that were filmed in Arizona that aren't necessarily about Arizona.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the list and I'm like, Forrest Gump is in here, Wayne's World, like Fast Five. All these people
Five?
yeah.
Wow.
All these movies just stop in Arizona to like look at the Grand Canyon or something and then like go somewhere else. And maybe that's what Arizona is. You just come here for a little bit, it gets too hot, go somewhere else.
We're the pit stop on the way to the beach.
Yeah.
Or my pit stains.
You're the pit stain of the United States. That's awful. I love Arizona.
No, I just meant because it's so hot, like I get pit stains.
Oh, yeah. No, we sweaty.
Yeah, hyperhidrosis, me.
Hashtag drink lots of water. Hashtag hyperhidrosis.
But that's another thing too. Like, I didn't know that a lot of these movies were filmed in Arizona, so I didn't know that Arizona also had like cold places. I didn't know it snowed in the Grand Canyon or in Flagstaff, or I could feel winter weather in Arizona.
Yeah. So that movie like 3:10 to Yuma, people see that and probably think that that's all that Arizona is just like dirt and desert. But no, we have, snow. We have buildings. We have shopping malls. We have nice buildings.
Shopping malls are not going to last.
We have shopping malls. I say in 2022.
I think movies that highlight the best that Arizona has to offer are Noel, the Christmas movie.
Oh, I loved that.
Wasn't it
movie.
based in Los Angeles?
It's set in Arizona.
Forgot
It's
about that
based
one.
here. Yeah, they the brother comes to Arizona to a yoga retreat to escape the North Pole.
And they let you know that that movie's set in Arizona because the guy who's not quite her love interest wears either like a Diamondbacks t-shirt or a Suns t-shirt in every single scene. And my husband and I are watching it like, this isn't how we dress. And I was like, it's kind of how you dress though, to be honest. I'm like looking at him and he's literally wearing a Suns shirt. I'm like, it's kind of how we dress.
See, which leads me to the other movie, which is Jerry Maguire. Because I feel like before Jerry Maguire, well, let's be real, even after Jerry Maguire, no one cared about the Cardinals. But at least, Jerry Maguire was made in a time when the Arizona Cardinals were, completely irrelevant. We'd been to the playoffs one time ever as a franchise. And so then that movie came out and Cuba Gooding Jr. plays a Cardinal. And suddenly people were talking about the Cardinals, not because we were good, but as a fan, it was still cool seeing, us represented on the screen.
We wanted to be shown the money.
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie. That's all I got about it is show me the money. Okay. But yeah, everyone come visit Arizona, but don't come in July. Thanks.
Fill me up with a bear full of monkeys, as I hate being bored, I hate being bored. Load me up cause I'm such a junkie, every day all I want is more. So entertain me right now. So entertain me right now.
Welcome, wild and wonderful fans of the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. We are recording at Olympus Games in Mesa, Arizona. My name is Shauna, and I am joined by my fellow junkies.
Alex?
Nicole.
And Hayley.
Hayley, you're so sensual this week. What's going on over at the end of the table?
Sound like a dude. My son just the other day goes, Mom, why do you sound like Dad?
Oh no.
I was like, it's okay, buddy. No, I've lost my voice. My vocal cords are raging. So, and I've tried every remedy. So you don't need to message me and tell me to drink tea and honey, lemon, and what.
Hot toddy. I told you.
It just
to go
happens,
hot
man.
toddy.
I get the laryngitis, but it's okay. I feel fine. I just sound like Phoebe in that episode. Or she gets the sexy sick voice.
You know, maybe just to make Hayley feel better, the rest of us should do sexy six voice for the rest of the episode too. Hey, how'd you guys do this week?
You sound like Raven from Teen Titans.
Hey, Alex, did you have a good week?
You sound like you're high.
Maybe I have. But yes, we hope you feel better.
Thank you.
But I kind of like it.
Maybe I'll keep it.
I think you should hold on to it for a little bit. So it's been a while since we've had just one of these like traditional, like, what are we all up to episodes. It's nice to catch up with you guys. This will be fun. This will be good. I want to know what y'all have been filling your headspaces with lately.
So the new season of Atlanta came out and been long awaited, you know, because the pandemic and all kind of slowed the release of certain things. And Atlanta was one thing that I was definitely waiting for patiently, and I finally got it. It's season 3. I was thinking about starting from the beginning, from season 1, and to like kind of remind me like what the show is. But that was just going to take too much time. I wasn't really going to do it. I seen the show. I remember what it felt like. Whatever. Season 3's here. Let me just go do it. And to me, it feels kind of like a combination of the first season and the second season. Because the first season was it was very much like story-driven, storyline. You know, you have Paperboy, who's a rapper in Atlanta, and he's coming up. And, you know, he's just living his life, trying to like, you know, leave the streets and like find this like stardom. And his cousin Ern, who's played by Donald Glover, who is also you know, executive producer and writer and director of the show, and you know, they're just trying to figure out how to make it. And then the second season, like they're kind of there, they're getting used to it, but it's different from the first season in the sense where it's a little more artsy, I guess, a little more existential.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's like an episode in season 2 where Donald Glover plays this old white man, and they put him in like makeup and stuff. I think he was white. I don't know, but it was weird. It almost gave me Jordan Peele feels, honestly, and that feeling came back in season 3 in the 2 episodes that I watched so far. But it still follows the storyline of like Paperboy and Ern.
There's still a plot going on.
Yeah, there's still a plot going on. I feel like there was less of it in the second season, but like in the first episode, I wasn't even sure what it was about because it wasn't even about any of the main characters. I was like following this kid who got kicked out of his home and like brought into foster care and like had to figure out a way to escape because his parents were 2 crazy white ladies who were pretty much kind of like doing like child enslavement.
Oh, geez.
Trying to like sell soap and stuff. It was
a
weird.
pyramid scheme.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of like gave me like Jordan Peele feels because you know, with Get Out.
Yeah.
Kind of like reminded me of that. And I mean, it's still good. The writing's good. The performances just are great. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I still don't really know how I feel, but I am still looking forward to seeing more.
And this is one of those like FX on Hulu
Yeah,
shows.
it's on FX on Hulu, yeah.
I started season 1 like ages ago, and it was one of those shows that we were going to sit down and watch, and then just kind of fell off.
And it's funny, too.
Yeah, and I really like Donald Glover.
Yeah, first season was really funny. The second season was funny, but it's kind of strange. And then like the third season, it's kind of a little bit of both. And then the second episode, they're like in Amsterdam, and they're going to like the Sinterklaas like celebration, and in this like story there's like blackface that the entire like, you know, all of Amsterdam is doing because because there's like this character who's like fell down a chimney, but they represent it with
no. Imagine being
hair.
cast as an extra in that scene. If you're like, no, I'm okay, I'm set.
So like it's like the group like going through Amsterdam and like seeing all this like weird stuff because you know they're, you know, black people and surrounded by white people in blackface, at least what they understand as blackface. And it was just, you know, again, kind of like Jordan Peele-esque kind of like perspective.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So comedy, drama, social commentary?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Nice.
I've been watching a lot lately. So I've been watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I'm not finished with yet, but I'm really liking the season. Been watching the final season of Good Girls, which I like it, but it's the final season and I already know it's canceled. So I'm like, why am I even committing time to this? But the thing I really want to talk about, so I'm not much of a like Disney adult, quote unquote, but every once in a while I'll catch up on a Disney movie. And I really wanted to watch Turning Red just because there's been so many people clutching their pearls over it. And I loved it. I liked it so much. Have you watched it yet, Hayley?
Haven't watched it yet, but as soon as I found out why people were upset about it, I was like, that's going on my list, like gonna watch it. But I specifically want to find time to watch it, just me and my daughter.
Yeah.
So that we could talk about stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I was like, at first, oh, whatever, it's a Disney movie about a fluffy red panda. And then I read why people were like, oh my stars. And I was like, well, I'm going to watch this.
Periods.
There's women have periods. Oh my. Fresh news to society.
Yeah.
So it follows May, and she lives with her mom and dad. She's 13 years old. She's just starting to kind of notice that she likes boys. She has this group of girlfriends, and they're obsessed with a boy band. It takes place in 2002, which I really liked because I was like 13 in 2002. And so she's got a Tamagotchi, and the boy band that she likes is like a NSYNC 98 Degrees hybrid thing. But she has this mom who has very high expectations of her, like puts a lot of pressure on her to be perfect at all times. And she like has this familial kind of curse / blessing that when the women in the family experience strong emotions / kind of like puberty allegory here, they turn into red pandas. And so anytime she experiences like a lot of embarrassment, which her mom really puts her through the ringer in this movie.
Yo, I just realized that I saw this movie.
You're like, that's what that was called.
Yo, listen.
I was like,
yo,
what
let
is
me
this?
tell you, let me
Like a
tell you.
panda? What is-
I made some brownies.
I didn't finish it. I've been wanting to finish
Were
it.
there herbal and freshmen?
I had to turn it off because my son did not like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's little still, like
My
giant pan-
nephew loved it, and he's 2, but he probably just saw pandas and was like, cool, whatever.
I thought I was definitely entertained and I was definitely like into it,
Yeah,
but he did not.
it's so cute, and like there's lots of little anime influences here and there. Like she realizes she has this like kind of crush on the boy who works at like the Quickie Mart or whatever, and like starts sketching him in her notebook, but it's all definitely like anime inspired drawings, and it's just really funny and cringy and like. I don't know. The animation is really cool. And yeah, I liked it a whole lot. And yeah, you know what? They talk about pads. They never say the word period. Her mom goes like, is it that time? And then runs to the store and comes back. It's like, I have water heating pads and I have ibuprofen and I have pads. And then at one point she's at school and she's like, you forgot your pads. Oh my God. But
Yeah, I read a review on some, because oftentimes, like before I show something to my kids, I'll go to Common Sense Media and I'll see what parents have commented and what kids, because they have both. It has like kids comments, parent comments, and usually it'll be pretty spot on as far as like age appropriateness, whatever. And this movie, man, brought out the crazies. Like
It's so
there was just so
funny.
much like I had to explain what a period was to my 7-year-old son, and I shouldn't have had to
Good.
do that. And I was like, except girls can start their periods when they're 8 years old. So like, yeah, you should be having that conversation with your
Yeah.
Yeah, you
7-year-old
should
son.
be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if
Like-
you're gonna like make babies and stuff. You got to know like ovulation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, like how do you just
That's the only word I know.
good job. There's nothing that should be taboo about like natural body processes. Like, and if you teach your kids, I mean, I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute, but if you teach your kids like proper words and experiences for these things, I think that only empowers them to understand like consent moving forward and to understand their own bodies and what they're going through when the time comes, and not to just be shocked when they start bleeding from their loins all of a sudden.
And I mean, like, and not for nothing, but like, I remember when I got married, my husband was so okay with just everything, like going to the store and getting me tampons and watching my children come into the planet. He was totally okay and unfazed with any of that stuff. And I remember thinking, like, who are you, this magical unicorn guy that isn't grossed out by this stuff? Because I always thought guys get grossed out by all that. And he's like, I grew up with a bunch of sisters. I've been around this stuff like my whole life.
Yeah.
And it was in that minute that I was like, my son is not getting shielded from any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, we're not shielded from anything else. I'm not shielded by, like, farts and stuff. So why are we shielded? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think they're just period stigma needs to go away. And anybody listening who like has a partner who bleeds down there, and if you're like, ew, they want me to buy them tampons, like, and you're being grossed out by that, like, dump him. Like that's
Red flag, pun intended.
Major red flag. So I will pop turning red.
I've been watching 2 Apple TV shows that I think are actually really good. The first one I watched and finished completely is called Afterparty, and has a really good cast, actually. It has Dave Franco, has Tiffany Haddish.
I've never even heard of this.
I haven't heard of it either, but when I was working at the golf course, there was a shack that we didn't have Wi-Fi or anything, so I had to download Apple TV shows because that was kind of like the only thing I knew how to do.
The only way to watch TV at work.
Yeah.
Nicole works in a shack all day.
So, not anymore. I quit. Okay. Anyways, no, but I watched this show because I love Tiffany Haddish, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. It has her in it. It's about a high school who has their 15th year reunion, and afterwards they have a party at a former student's house.
An after party.
Yeah, and so the student that is holding the after party, he's a famous like pop star. So he has this nice mansion on the beach in California, and in the middle of the party, he is thrown off his balcony and dies. And so the show is pretty much based on trying to figure out who killed him. And Tiffany Haddish is the lead detective in the show. And each episode is a different character telling their story.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was cool about it. I didn't finish watching it either, but
I finished it.
What's it on Apple TV?
Apple TV.
Yeah.
It is actually.
Have you not noticed that Apple TV is the only thing that Nicole's been watching recently?
Yeah. But it's so funny. I highly recommend it. I was not expecting it to be like kind of funny. I was expecting it to be more serious, but it's so funny. Tiffany Haddish plays a great role because technically she's not supposed to be leading the case. She was kind of just supposed to go there, see what happened, and then kind of dip. But she's like, no, I'm going to finish this case, because you'll see more so in the episode when it's her episode why she's so adamant about figuring out who did it. But it's so funny. She just gets into these people's heads and she's like, oh, so like you guys were kissing? Like what happened after that? Are you guys dating now? And she goes totally off topic on some people.
What I like about it too is how every episode is the person telling their side of the story. It becomes a different sort of like cinematic experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like there's one episode, it's an animated episode, and I actually really like that one because you could do so many different things with it. So I would definitely pop Afterparty on Apple TV if you have it. But
You said it's their 15-year
I
anniversary.
think it's 15 years. Yeah, it's 10 or 15.
Yeah, I pulled up the cast. It's Tiffany Haddish, Sam Richardson, Zoe Chow, Ben Schwartz,
Oh, I like Ben Schwartz.
Ike Barinholtz, Alana Glazer, like
Dave Franco.
Yeah, Dave Franco. There's a lot of like
It's a pretty good cast.
good comedians in there, like
I was
funny people.
dying laughing at work and don't know how golfers didn't come up to me like, are you okay?
I just realized that I graduated high school 15 years ago, so now I'm feeling elderly. But also, no one actually has 15-year anniversaries.
Yeah. So, like I said, it could be not 15, but I don't know why 15's popping in my head. Then the other show I watched was Well, I haven't finished it yet, but I've started it, and it's called Physical on Apple TV. Apple TV, sponsor us. But
Now on
it is yes, it's about a woman who is played by Rose Byrne.
Oh, I like Rose Byrne.
I really like her, so that's what drew me to the show, because looking at the poster for the show, I was not interested, but I was like, I like her, so we'll give it a chance. It's about her and her life. It's based in the 1980s in San Diego, and behind closed doors and in her house, she's really in her head with an eating disorder and thinking that she's not good enough when literally in the show she's absolutely perfect. And she's comparing herself to other women, or she'll see heavier women and be like, how can you look like that? Blah, blah, blah. Like and it's just like, I don't know, it really opens your eyes because women do deal with this all the time. Not just women, people deal with this all the time. And so it looks like she's living this perfect life. She has a daughter, a husband, but in her head, she's just not doing well. And her husband loses his job as a professor at a college. And he tries to run for some type of position in like the government or whatever. And so he's trying to run his campaign. She ends up becoming an aerobics instructor to get some money. That's kind of all I've gotten so far. It's actually really good. I'd probably pop it. I'm going to finish it out. I don't work at the golf course anymore, so I got to kind of just watch it at home. I don't have that to do, but you know, it's okay. We'll work it out.
We'll make it work. We'll watch the TV.
I think Apple TV is like underrated, or at least like underestimated
It really
in like what it
is.
has. I think part of it is because it's so new still. Did you watch that show, Foundation? I remember you were talking about I was waiting for you to watch it first.
No, my dad started watching it actually, and he was like, he got like 3 episodes in, and I think he gave up. He's like, it was just so slow.
Oh.
And like, I still want to watch it. It got renewed for a second season, so I still want to watch it, but it definitely gives off like deep sci-fi vibes, you know, where you're like getting into this like space opera, and that's like, I got to be in a specific state of mind to want to watch something kind of slow and serious. Like that's the same reason why I haven't watched Dune yet. It's like my life is just so fast paced.
So
I need something that is like 20 minutes and funny and easy to digest, which leads me to what I watched.
Please be Dollface. Please be Dollface.
No, not yet.
Damn it, Hayley.
Dang it. No, so I, in 3 days, watched Our Flag Means Death, which is on HBO Max. And it is a historical romantic pirate comedy.
Historical romantic gay pirate comedy.
Correct. Yes. So Rhys Darby and Taika Waititi are the 2 leads. Rhys Darby plays Stede Bonnet, who nicknames himself the Gentleman Pirate. He leaves his wife and kids and
What a gentleman.
strikes out. Well, yeah. But he leaves them all of his money. They're very wealthy. He leaves them all of his money. And he goes and he strikes out on a pirate ship. And he grabs the most random crew of people who none of which have ever been pirates before, except one who says he's been a pirate, but he really hasn't. And they set out on the high seas, and they're terrible. Their first conquest, I think they steal like a house plant. Like they're just terrible, terrible. And eventually they end up being boarded by Blackbeard, the one and only, who's played by Taika Waititi. And the plot of the show, I called it from the very beginning. So I was very proud of myself because I was like, he left his wife and kids because he's gay, and he's going out on the high seas with a bunch of men because they're gay. And but it doesn't give that away right away. But you see it play out, and there's a non-binary character and multiple gay characters and
Gay pirate orgy.
Gay pirates who end up falling in love. So Stede and Blackbeard end up falling for one another, and it plays out over the course of these 10 episodes. But then there's a big old twist at the ending, which I won't talk about. And so it builds up over these 10 episodes, and it was infectious. Like, it was just so
What is this on?
fun. HBO Max. Okay. And I mean, if you like Flight of the Conchords and you like What We Do in the Shadows, and you like that Taika Waititi brand of humor where there's a lot of improvising and a lot of kind of subtle humor. And admittedly, for the first 3 episodes, I was like, what is the vibe of this? Like, I was like, are they trying to be serious? Because I think they're trying to be funny, but I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh. Like, it was weird.
But then you remember it's a Taika Waititi product.
Yeah.
You're like, I should probably laugh.
And then like Will Arnett shows up at one point,
and then
he's
you're
just like
supposed to laugh,
whipping people, and like so yeah. And there's some great cameos. Leslie Jones, I think her name is, from Saturday Night Live.
Nice.
Fred Armisen shows up. So yeah, there's some great cameos, and it hasn't been officially picked up for a second season, but it's looking positive because the fans are going crazy.
I've seen a lot of fan art on like Instagram.
The fan art's going crazy, and Taika Waititi shared some like a fan cam, and was just like, I'm so proud of this show. And so anyway, I really liked it. The cast is incredibly diverse, and it's just great for visibility. And like Schitt's Creek, the sexuality of the characters is not
Something everyone's like, oh my God, you're gay. They're just gay.
exactly. It's not like it's not made a thing. It's just not made a point. It's just very normal and very natural, I think, as it should be viewed in the society in which we live, and we know isn't always. And that's not to say that there aren't characters who aren't, inserting their ignorant views of things, but it's just kind of widely accepted. It's not, oh my gosh, these two can't be together. They're men. Even, oh man, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a great coming out scene, I suppose. And it's one of those scenes where you're like, it should always be like that. So yeah, I can't talk good enough about Our Flag Man's Death. And it's 10 episodes, like 20 minutes each. So quick binge. And then the other thing that I checked out this week was on a completely opposite spectrum.
Is it really?
Maybe,
It's still
maybe
gay
not.
pirates.
No, dude, he is. Oh, wow. Is the Gay Pirate album mainstream sellout by Machine Gun Kelly. So you guys know or may not know, I actually did an episode of my solo podcast all about Tickets to My Downfall by Machine Gun Kelly and how much I liked that album.
I
and
had
how-
no idea you were a Machine Gun Kelly stan.
So here's the thing, like I'm not really him as a person. I pretty much can't stand him, to be honest. But his last album kind of brought this like resurgence of pop punk back into the mainstream. And I know like a lot of people are like, oh, Eminem dissed him so bad he just switched genres. And like, honestly, I don't care about that. Yeah. Like, and some of that's true. And he rips off riffs from Green Day and from Paramore and from Reliant K and all these
Reliant
other
K, oh my
bands.
God.
Like he has literally just like sampled these songs. And so a lot of people give him a lot of hate for that. He's unoriginal. His hooks are dumb. And
So did you like the album, Hayley?
okay, so all of that to say, I really love Tickets to My Downfall. Like that was like an A+ album. If you go back to whatever 2020, it's like my top repeat in Spotify. I listen to it nonstop. So this album, I had high hopes until that emo girl song came out, and then I was like, oh crap, everything that they said about MGK is like correct. So I'm gonna give this one a B. The last one was an A+. This one has 4 or 5 songs that I skip. I just, they're weak.
Is it called Emo Girl?
The song, his lead single is called Emo Girl, and it has Willow on
Is that
it.
the
Oh, yeah, I
TikTok
heard about
viral
that.
one?
It's probably viral, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're not on TikTok.
But like,
Every word that
it
you
say-
say is just aging me
no,
so.
right, yeah.
Does it say I'm in love with an emo girl?
Yes.
Okay.
But like 50 times.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just can't sing it. But.
No, so that's the thing is like, a lot of his lyrics are just, the chorus is just the same thing over and over again. It's super repetitive. He has a song with Lil Wayne called A that's like kind of a bop, but also is like only like a minute 30 seconds long, and you're like, what? So I can't even like, as soon as I get into it, it's over. But yeah, I don't know. There's like 9 to 10 songs that are pretty good, and then 4 to 5 that you just skip right over.
I don't know, man. As an elder emo, I'm not sure if I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I will never be like you said, like an MGK stan. I'm never like, I would go to his concert if I got like cheap tickets, like, but I'm not gonna be like front row and be like, oh my gosh, MGK, because everything he's doing because of Travis Barker, and he's doing because of all the people who came
Yeah.
before him. And I already stand all those people, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be standing this guy. But at the same time, like, why do I listen to music?
You could bop. Yeah, have
Yeah,
fun,
like
have fun.
I listen to music just because I like bangers. Like I like songs that are gonna like give me energy and keep me going on the treadmill. And like that's what this song is, or this album is. So it's not anything I'm gonna probably remember 30 years from now, but I'm enjoying it right now. So there's that.
Well, shout out Machine Gun Kelly for making Hayley sweat. So the Oscars happened recently, and I feel like overall they were pretty boring and not much happened. So we don't really got to talk about it.
Isn't that the Oscars period? Just like boredom.
It was just, nothing shocking came out of it.
All right,
Carpet
so
was good.
Sam Jackson won an Oscar.
That's
did.
true.
Questlove won an Oscar for best
That's
documentary.
right.
The first openly gay woman of color won an Oscar as well. Her name is Ariana DeBose, and she won for West Side Story, which I still haven't seen, but I want to because I like musicals.
And that's on Disney Plus.
Sponsor us, Disney Plus.
Billie Eilish also won her first Oscar with her brother Phineas.
That's right. I
What did
saw
she win an Oscar
that.
Her song in No Time to Die in James Bond's movie.
My favorite part of the Oscars, which I've seen a lot of online discussion about. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of been taking up the Twitter lately. Was obviously Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was actually really
No,
sweet.
it was my favorite part. Like, Liza obviously is a little frail these days and kind of seemed a little unaware of what she was supposed to say. And Gaga was just so like gentle, but not like patronizing with her, like kind of guiding her along through the kind of the whole segment. Kind of like, aren't you excited to say who the winner is, Liza? Like, I just loved it so much. And it's so funny to see on Twitter, everyone's like, oh, wow, Lady Gaga's so great with her elders. And I'm like, she released 2 albums with Tony Bennett. he's what, I think he has Alzheimer's now or some kind of dementia. And she's just so patient with him and like genuinely respects his friendship. Like, listen, all of us little monsters who have been here since day one know what a respectful queen Lady Gaga is. And she was robbed on that nomination for Best Actress. But that's okay.
For House of Gucci.
Yes. Father, son, and House of Gucci.
My mom and I watched that and we were both like, it could have been so much better. Not like obviously like her, she didn't write it or direct it or anything.
I still
think she
haven't
did
seen
great.
it.
It could have been, the only exciting part was the very end. And I mean, we all can guess what the ending was.
Yeah,
honestly,
I mean, it's
but
a true story. So.
yeah, but yeah, it honestly could have been a lot better. She did a phenomenal job acting in it though, but overall the story could have been portrayed a lot better.
Obviously, the big difference with this year's Oscars was the way they did the in memoriam tributes, where they actually had people talking instead of like on the screen. You know
Didn't
what I mean?
Jamie Lee Curtis hold like
She held up
a dog the whole time? Why?
Because Betty White loved animals.
Okay. Like, I'm here for Jamie Lee Curtis and I'm here for puppies and I'm here for Jamie Lee Curtis holding puppies, but I didn't understand why.
Yeah, that's why. It was like a, go adopt dogs kind of thing.
Michael Myers can't kill a dog, so she's like, I'm gonna hold this dog so I don't get killed.
And Bill Murray's tribute to Ivan Reitman was so nice and sweet. And I don't know. I just liked that part.
Oh, God. There was that other thing that happened. God, I don't know. We should probably mention it. Beyonce performed.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And let's talk about that weird freaking We Don't Talk About Bruno remix that they threw in there with Megan Thee Stallion. I was like, no one asked for this.
I didn't see that.
Oh, girl. Okay. I will never be able to explain to you the like utter horror I felt driving home from work one day and turning on like 104.7 and they were playing We Don't Talk About Bruno. And I was like, what fresh hell am I living in? That this is on the radio. Like, and you guys know, like, I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. I love like all the Disney.
We got to draw the line here somewhere, guys.
Yeah. At what point are we like, let's leave what's to the kids and let's not play this on Top 40 radio.
Ooh, I do want to throw in here randomly. I don't know. I didn't mention this. I saw Dua Lipa and Megan Thee Stallion in concert recently, you guys. Megan Thee Stallion live. That woman has amazing quads. Oh my God. She's just like squatting the entire time.
I saw a Twitter post where one of the security guards was like standing, just like doing his job, and like Megan Thee Stallion, like with her crotch over his head.
Yes.
Like, this is the best day of my life.
That was honestly her the entire show. She just twerks so good and makes her butt cheeks do things that my butt cheeks could never do. And then my husband leans over to me and literally goes, I could do that. And I looked at him, I was like, bet. Come on, we got to go home right now. You have to prove this. I could do that. Spoiler, no, he can't. Anyway, back to Megan Thee Stallion and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but that wasn't like the major headline of the night or whatever. So obviously, we've seen the memes, like we've seen the posts, we've seen the news articles about Coda winning Best Picture, which is freaking awesome. Talk about like, I don't know, inclusivity.
I'm interested in seeing it now.
And talk like the actor who won Best Supporting Actor he's deaf, in case anyone is unfamiliar. So he signed his acceptance speech and he's been like sweeping the awards. But he went to Westwood High School, dude. He's from here, Mesa, Arizona, local connection.
I have to point out one really stupid thing that happened at the Oscars that I can't believe we haven't talked about yet. But they said that the most exciting moment in cinema was when the Flash entered the Speed Force.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, what? what in
I have
a
to
world
grunt in
in a world
disapproval.
where Avengers Endgame exists and we've seen every Spider-Man in a movie together, the Flash entering the Speed Force in such and such Zack Snyder Justice whatever. I don't even remember those movies. But yeah, that was the most exciting scene in cinema, you
If
guys.
you have ever wondered, are award shows rigged? That was your proof.
That was it.
That
Zack
was it.
Snyder slipped somebody
Yeah.
a couple $100,000 backstage. Like, the Flash enters the Speed Force, you guys.
Well, and that's exactly how these award shows are put together. Like, ever since I know I talked about this, but there's that episode of Adam Ruins Everything where he talks about Adam Ruins the award show.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. It's all about money. It's like paying people in the Academy to vote for their film. And so none of that, that's why the Oscars, it's always movies that no one has ever seen.
Yeah.
And no one ever really cares about. So to be honest, this is the first time I've watched any sort of clip from the Oscars.
Which
in a
clip
long time.
did you watch, Hayley?
Well, you know,
You know,
the one.
the clip. Okay, so Will Smith slapped.
Yeah,
I
that's
almost said
actually
Kid
the
Rock.
only thing I watched from the Oscars.
Have you watched it enough though? That's the question. Have we heard enough? Have we seen enough? Have we read enough?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to let that moment go. The dude did a horrible thing. It was very out of place. He shouldn't have gone up the stage and smacked Chris Rock for doing his job.
Thank you. He was
Yeah.
doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And compared his wife to G.I. Jane. Isn't G.I. Jane like
She's
a badass?
She is. Yeah.
Okay, my thing is though, when you watch it, you see Will Smith laughing at the joke, and Jada Pinkett Smith is like pissed off about it. So I think Will was okay with it, and then
Until
he looks
he's-
at
yeah.
Jada, and he's like, "Oh crap, she didn't like that. Let me go up and do something about it." And in my head, I'm like, he didn't even write the joke.
Yeah,
he was just reading off the teleprompter that's in front of him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. There was Will Smith recently released a book, and I'm thinking in that he talks about his experience with his mom and watching his dad beat his mom and him not doing anything. So I feel part of this is some kind of trauma that was like released in that moment. And I think there's like things that we don't know. All we see is him going up and smacking Chris Rock, which again shouldn't have happened. Like that is messed up. Like all he's doing is doing his job, making jokes.
a pretty tame joke at
It's
that.
pretty tame joke. Like I said, J&J, like she's pretty awesome.
And it's pretty outdated joke, too.
Yeah. But I can just to like play like devil's advocate or whatever, but like I can see where like that trauma is. And also like Jada Pinkett Smith has kind of like been even like in the whole social media entanglement, like she basically in a way kind of emasculated Will Smith publicly.
Oh, totally.
I think that was part of it, too, is he's kind of trying to reclaim some kind of moment of power or something. And I get like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like her alopecia that she struggles with too. And like, I get people who are saying, oh, Chris Rock shouldn't joke about that. But it's not like he was like,
I didn't know she had alopecia.
I didn't
He
either.
didn't know she like.
Right.
I don't watch Red Table Talk.
exactly.
Sorry, guys.
It's not like Chris Rock was like, she has alopecia. I'm going to make an alopecia.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
And I don't follow her on socials. Like I didn't know either. And like here's how, because I've been reading like so many takes. Even like Tiffany Haddish, I think was like was saying something like
She was backing Will Smith though.
Yeah.
yeah, she was like, oh, good for him, and that G.I. Jane joke was out of pocket, and saying like,
She was like, I hope I could find a man that loves me like that. I'm
like I get defending Black women and standing up for them, which is what something like a point that she made too, and like I am here for that. But you also don't want to take the power away from women in saying like, so you're not allowed to make fun of women anymore at awards shows, or their man has to go up there and slap someone. Like,
Yeah.
well, and so like I have a friend who like he's got an autoimmune disorder, and he brought up, he's like, like it was good to see someone like stand up for people with disabilities, and I was like, is alopecia a disability, dude? And because he's the one, he's got several disabilities, and he's like, I would consider it, because if there's a point where your body is not able to do something that it's supposed to do, then that's a disability.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I appreciate that take as someone who has a disability, taking that take.
Yeah.
I appreciate a Black woman taking Will and Jada's side and representing that. I appreciate people bringing their own experiences and
Yeah.
their own views and stuff to that. And then at the same time, like you can think Chris Rock's joke was out of pocket, and be like, oh, he shouldn't have said that. And also think that Will shouldn't have freaking decked him on the stage at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like both things can be true. You know what I mean?
That's why I
Yeah.
feel like this is such a conflicting situation. Because there's
Exactly.
like so many layers. There's like the whole trauma thing. There's like the patronizing, like of the women thing, you know, like.
Go protect the woman
Yeah, like,
folk. Yeah.
like what did Jada ask him to like do that? Like,
She might have.
maybe.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like there's all these jokes. I've seen all these jokes that are like, oh, August would get up there and
Or it's like
hit him
Tupac would have shot
or
him.
Tupac. But I've seen a lot of stuff, and I thought, you know what? Like, we joke about that, but also, like you said, Alex, like, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes,
Yep.
and their marriage has been like rocky as hell. At least to me, it seems that way
Yeah.
for a while. And so, like you said, like emasculating him or whatever.
Imagine some of his like insecurities like that could just be running in his head. But,
Yeah.
you know, I also give props to Chris Rock for handling it the way he did. Just like he had his arm straight back after that hit. I was like, oh, it's about to be a fight.
You could tell he had a joke on the tip of his tongue too, and he's like, "Nope, take it back, Chris. Save it for the
Oh, yeah.
special."
And at first I thought it was a bit. I thought they were like, you know, it was just part of the show. And afterwards, watching Chris Rock just be in full shock.
Yeah, and like I thought, like maybe it was a bit until Will Smith went back to his table and shouted like, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing
Yeah.
mouth."
Yeah.
And you could see Lupita Nyong'o in the background, like,
Yeah. And like even as an actor too, I see Will Smith as somebody who who really becomes the characters.
Yeah,
And I know that later he talks about like King Richard and like kind of like showing similarities. And in a sense I can understand that. Because as an actor I feel that's how you really make the best
you
of your
immerse
performance.
yourself in it.
You immerse yourself in it. You find how you relate to the character so that you can portray that part of it. So it could be that, you know, that mindset could like still be there with him, especially because the Oscar is for the King Richard.
Yeah,
But it doesn't give him an excuse to do what he did.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think, well, I don't know, one of the many takes I saw was like, you know, don't let anybody tell you that violence is a representation of love. And like, you know, my friend and I were debating because she was like, man, if someone said something about me and something that I couldn't control and something I was, you know, caused me a lot of pain, I'd want my husband to do the exact same thing Will Smith did. And I was like, on the flip of that, like, I would be mortified. I would never look at my husband the
Yeah.
same way if he did something because of something somebody said, right? If
Yeah.
they did something, if there's
if
a
somebody
physical
like
threat, that's a
touches
whole
me,
different
then
thing.
and my husband goes and kicks his ass, then sure.
Yeah, it's a whole different
Yeah.
thing, right? But to me, I feel like it overshadowed the rest of the night. It overshadowed the rest of the accomplishments of
It
the people.
overshadowed Will Smith's own win later that night.
Yeah.
He won his first Oscar, right? And first, like, none of, you know, what he's going to be remembered for this night is that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, then I think back to like people are like violence is never the answer, but it's like, okay, well, I've slapped men across the face before for like being inappropriate with my friends, and like I felt pretty justified in that, and like I don't know, sometimes violence kind of happens. Sometimes a Molotov cocktail needs to be thrown through a window.
I think too. I think it was the event at which it took place. Like, I don't know, Oscars is synonymous for, you know, what the $15 million swag bag each of these
So
people got.
hoity-toity rich people,
Exactly.
blowing
And so
smoke off each
there's
other.
been a lot of like pearl clutching from comedians and a bunch of people and actors and stuff like, I can't believe something like this would happen in Hollywood. And
a lot of trash happens.
well, it was
in
so funny
Hollywood.
because like I was scrolling through Twitter and they're like, imagine, you know, if Ricky Gervais was the one, like, because he just demolished all of Hollywood, you know, when he hosted
tore
the Golden Globes.
everyone apart.
And they're like Tom Hanks's face when he realized he could have just smacked Ricky Gervais the whole time, you know.
The memes have been gold.
Yeah.
The
The memes
memes have been the
have.
best part of this whole
But yeah, so
situation.
Ricky Gervais, he actually replied to like one of the memes that someone posted or something, and he's like, I would have led with the joke of what a great night. Look at how diverse and inclusive it is here. You know, the most inclusive and diverse Oscars we've ever had, except for poor people, because F them.
I don't know. Yeah, it is like, yeah, like I said, a very conflicting like situation because it can really go both ways.
Yeah.
And like even just like going back to like, you know, Jada not even asking for it, like even just as, you know, a partner where do I need permission to protect my wife? You know, like, shouldn't I just like go ahead and, but again, he like, it was uncalled for.
Yeah, it was uncalled for. I don't think there's any winners here all around. I think that we're going to be talking about it, unfortunately, for a long time. Yeah. And I absolutely think at some point there is going to be a red table talk with Chris Rock and Will Smith that we're all going to have to endure. Yeah.
And I saw that Will Smith apologized. To me, from like what I understand right now is that they've kind of like moved from it. What I'm trying to take from that situation is how, you know, the Black community, or at least like how Denzel went up to Chris, went up to Will, went up to Jada, as well as Sam. Yeah. And they were like helping each other out. They were like, all right, let's this is bigger than us. I know that you're mad right now, but like you bring in a lot of influence. I'm not saying this is what he said, but I think in that moment, you know, we really have to think about, you know, what we have, this kind of responsibility. Yeah. And not like they asked for this responsibility because we as the fans give them that responsibility. And what I think is something that we can kind of take away from it is how now they're looking to resolve the situation. Yeah. How we're like, okay, we're reflecting, we're understanding what we did wasn't kosher, wasn't allowed, was inappropriate. You know, we're two different people really just trying to understand each other. So like, now let's take time to like support each other in our processing of this whole situation. Because I feel like that's what we need as like people being together. Like, I feel like sometimes we just stick too much to the moment that happened and how we felt, but really just stay there without really, as a community, getting through it and
resolving anything.
Exactly. And I felt like just those people getting together and trying to resolve it was, to me, like, it showed maturity. And also, like, maybe that is what we need. Celebrities are human too, you know? Celebrities feel emotions. They go through trauma.
They have outbursts. Yeah.
Yeah, they have outbursts. And we just, you know, should try to find ways to connect ourselves with them, because also we don't know what it is that was going behind the TV screen.
He's been Will's been defending his family for a long time. And I will say, you know, I loved Denzel's like quote that Will shared about, like, you know, when you're at your highest, that's like when the devil's going to come for you. But I was like, you know, like in a world of like Chris Rock's and Will Smith's, like, be a Denzel, like be the one in the middle that's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
even P. Diddy, who is like, these two are going to solve it like family at the after party. Now let's move on. Like,
and Jada, I think, updated her Instagram and was like, this is a season for healing and I'm going to welcome it. And you know, we'll see what the long-term impact is. I know everyone's knee-jerk reaction right now. I'm going to boycott this and boycott that. I'm like,
my knee-jerk reaction is just memes. That is all I've been focused on for days.
Laughter. Absolute.
Because if you just like sit back and just think about it, Will Smith bitch slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, you guys. That's hilarious.
That was exactly. That's what I thought initially. I thought that was funny.
This is absurd. This is rich people absurdity at its finest. Yeah. And we should meme it to hell until it dies.
You know what is funny is when Amy Schumer, one of the hosts, came back out after that happened. She was like, so guys, like, I've been in the back. Like, I really don't know has anything actually happened.
Did I miss anything?
And everyone just dies laughing. And another thing that was funny was in the beginning, I believe when they were opening up, I did not watch the Oscars. I'll be honest. I watched the red carpet. I did not watch the actual award show, but
nobody watches the actual.
Yeah.
We've all just been watching the clips.
Yes. So this was a clip on TikTok or something, and it was Wanda, Amy, and Regina Hall.
Hall.
She made fun of Will and Jada.
Their open marriage. Yeah.
She didn't get slapped.
But
that would have been something. That
would have been oof.
So the opening with Wanda Sykes, Regina Hall, and Amy Schumer, they were all just talking, and they were all kind of like, it's so cool that we have the 3 women doing it this year. And then Amy Schumer's like, yeah, they got 3 women because it's a lot cheaper than hiring 1 man to host. I was like, that's so true and so funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good trio to host.
I still stand by my assertion that they should have had the Muppets hosted, because that you would not have a slap on stage if Kermit was the host. And if you did, could you imagine
Kermit coming out after the slap and being like, Can't even do
He'd
it.
just be drinking his tea.
Non-bothered. Oh man, I'm here next year for Chris Rock and Will Smith duo hosting
Co-hosting.
together.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be great.
That would be
I
amazing.
That'd
can
so
see them
funny.
doing that.
That'd be awesome.
One of my other favorite memes. Sorry, I'm gonna jump in.
Oh
Again.
no, what's the good memes, you guys? Come on, memes.
It was one where it was a guy and he was just kind of pretending to be Will Smith. He was like Will Smith at the after party, just enjoying himself. And then Will Smith sees the door open and it's just the cast of grown-ups walking, like strutting in, just coming after him. I just died laughing. I don't know. I just found it so funny because I love that movie.
Oh yeah, because
Chris Rock's in
Yeah.
that movie.
That's like his whole squad, like Adam
Yeah.
Sandler's squad. Yeah.
Adam Sandler definitely tweeted today. He was like, "Can't wait for your tour, bro." And it was Chris Rock, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
gross."
Yeah. Well, and Chris Rock's, you said, Shauna, there's no winners. I'm like, I think Chris Rock might be the winner.
Yeah.
Because his tour sales have shot way up.
That's
and I
right.
feel like there's a whole faction of people. I don't know if anyone's going to go, I'm going to go rewatch all of Will Smith's movies now. But I bet there's a whole bunch of people that are like, I'm going to go see what Chris Rock has to say about this.
That's
on
true
his
because he
tour.
hasn't released anything.
Yeah, he
Any
hasn't-
statements, nothing.
Yeah, all we know is he went to the after party and he made some joke to someone there about I got hit by Muhammad Ali and I'm still standing.
I
He
think
took it like a champ.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I think one of the things he said, if he did say anything, was that he didn't know that she had alopecia.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was like his manager or something said that. Yeah.
My favorite quote of the night was when he said, "Dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke."
Yeah.
Like, even he knew how lame that joke was. He's like, "That joke was really lame and outdated. You slapped me over it."
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And his tour date is another reason why I thought, oh, this is a bit.
It's
This is part of
staged.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard another reason why people thought it was staged is because the ratings have just been poor
Yeah.
the past few years. And people were like, okay, this is going to get people talking and tuning in. And then I'm like, no, I think this is actually real. I think this really happened.
Yeah, I mean, this affects me because obviously it's, black men who have influence
Mm-hmm.
and the media portrays black violence a lot in just media. And like, it's disappointing because now in this stage, this happens, and which is part of the reason why I feel it's good to think about the way that they're resolving the issue and working together to do it, as opposed to just focusing on the incident itself.
Yeah. And I
Well
mean,
said.
the next day, Ezra Miller is arrested in a karaoke bar for like punching a woman. And I don't see a lot of people like clutching their pearls because why? Because they're white?
Because they're a skinny white person.
Exactly. So, if we're gonna be, so in shock over the slap,
Over
why are we not
violence.
equally, as disturbed by a level of violence done on a greater, more harmful scale?
Yep.
Yeah,
because
to a
it
stranger in
Exactly.
public.
Yeah. So and I feel like I there's definitely this double standard where it's like, granted, it was on the Oscar stage and it was front and center, but at the same time, it's like, let's quit pretending like this is the worst thing that anyone has ever done in the
Yeah.
history.
Dude, I know. I've been seeing that clip lately of Marlon Brando's acceptance speech in the 70s where he had a Native American woman walk up and like accept the award on his behalf. And she talked about the mistreatment of like Native Americans in Hollywood and people were booing her. Like Clint Eastwood, had to like make fun of her afterwards.
I think
and-
John Wayne was about to run up to the stage.
Yeah, he's gonna kick her ass.
Luckily, security stopped her.
But
But,
talk
like,
about
even then,
ugly
like-
history.
Security didn't stop Will. Also, you wouldn't have expected that from Will.
Yeah.
True.
That's another thing. Like, he's
Yeah.
probably just gonna.
And he was sitting right there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Right by the
He got up
Yeah.
there fast.
Yeah, he did.
One
was
second, he's like laughing, and then it cuts to
Yeah,
him.
that's what I was like, what?
Dude, shout out to Marlon Brando for like always being a real one. Oh, he's one of my favorite actors.
For real though, John Wayne and Clint Eastwood can kick rocks. Please don't.
How is Clint Eastwood still alive?
Dude, right? Oh,
That dude's
old
like, what, 97 or
racist
something?
dude, honestly. Well, I think that just about wraps it up, you guys. This was good. This was a great conversation. I missed our riffs.
Man, people should slap each other more often. We'd have more to talk about.
I did see some funny tweet that was like, we should have a vote and see who gets slapped next year at the Oscars.
We could slap each other on our Patreon.
If you subscribe to Patreon, we'll all slap each other.
Let's get in a train line.
God. I think some of us might enjoy that a little too much. I'm not saying who.
Maybe it would make my voice come back if you slap me hard enough.
I mean, I love all of you, so
Podcast so good, make you want to slap your Hayley.
slap your knee.
I thought you were going to say slap your mama.
I don't slap moms. I would
Why?
never slap anyone's mama.
Unless it was on the...
Unless it was Chris Rock. All right. Well, that just about wraps up another episode of Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Why don't we tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find me, Alex, at ALCASNUN on Instagram and Twitter.
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, on Instagram and Twitter at Shauna Trinidad, SHAUNATRINIDAD.
You can find me, Nicole, on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14.
And you can find me, Hayley, on Instagram at 30NerdyThriving.
Please check out the Pop Culture Junkie website at www.popculturejunkie.com. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/popculturejunkiepodcast. Twitter, we are at Pop Junkies. On Instagram, we are at pop.culturejunkies. And be sure to email us. Tell us what's up. Shoot us an email, you guys. Don't make it weird. Junkies@popculturejunkie.com. Make sure that you please download, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep us going. We like doing this and we want to keep doing it. Come back next week for another slap of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group.